and we've got to, handle those things. It's not going to be perfect. Those guys aren't going to be perfect. We're not perfect, but I think we lost some time with that frustration. So that's just something we're talking about. We're growing.
What's even more absurd than Caitlin Clark's three-pointers is the fact that she was called for a technical penalty just for being ecstatic over one. When did desire become a crime? We're going to go into the strange realm of WNBA reefing, and I promise you that it will only get stranger. You may think that elbowing someone in the face was a bad choice. Wait until you learn what happened next. The hit is not the most important thing. What comes next is equally significant, a dispute that is roiling the league. Was sparked by the choice the referees took at that precise moment to consider this right now. Caitlin Clark, the newest star to come out of the Women's National Basketball Association, is driving to the basket. Are you certain there's no stopping her? It's untrue because her elbow suddenly comes into touch with her face. It's as clear as ever and everyone in the arena could see it. Wouldn't you think that this is an easy choice to make? That's when things start to spiral out of control, though. Instead of awarding a foul, the referee struck her with an aggressive foul. Regarding Clark.
We've just got to make sure that we don't let outside things that we have no control over, affect us. I think she got fouled and missed those 2 free throws and then, got frustrated with the officiating at times, but that's where we've got to be better.
Was meant to get it. It is accurate. Yes, you heard that right. She gets struck in the face by an elbow, and regrettably, she gets penalized in some way for it. This is beyond my comprehension. The audience goes completely insane. Gamers are in a state of shock as social media goes all out and everyone asks the same question. Even now, what game are they watching? By the way, watch the replay. The elbow connection is readily visible. This is in no way construed as an offensive foul. But later on in the game, that's not the end of it. Clark is hit again. At first, there are no calls from the officials during this incident. It's not until the fourth quarter, when they review the play, that they decide it's a flagrant foul. We refer to that as inconsistency. You know what's even more absurd in this instance, though? Since the start of the season, it has continued to happen. Such torment has been inflicted upon Clark. When she plays games, she frequently gets hit, shoved, and held. We can't allow that to have a significant impact on us in just that first quarter. You are familiar with the officials. Allow me to deal with the officials. Furthermore, it is true that woman is the one who ultimately bears the consequences of the foul call made against her. Furthermore, Clark will not keep quiet about it. It's difficult to blame her for feeling irritated because it appears as though the referees are working against her. Even though, in her own words, she is putting everything on the line, she is getting a lot of contact during the games, which has led to some calls that are totally out of the blue. What transpired with the elbow is really the top of the iceberg. It is revealing a deeper problem among WNBA players. Right now, we are observing a pattern in this. Consider this in the event that the referees are unable to make the proper decision for a public figure such as Clark, since there has been a history of unfair treatment against one of the league's most well-known stars. What is happening with the other league teams? And after that, in the second part, she emerged and was, she was a different player when she let it go. This second quarter, we just can't have that first quarter of deep triples. This brings into question the quality of the referees in women's basketball, which is a serious issue. But here's the thing, in other words, Clark is not the only one affected by this disagreement. It is bringing to light issues that have been simmering beneath the surface for some time. Everyone is voicing their opinions, including players, fans, and commentators. They are calling for better officiating, increased consistency, and equitable treatment for all players. While the idea of treating all players fairly is appealing, the catch is this. What if you are truly a target because you are a star player? The situation with Caitlin Clark reveals a paradox that is upending the fundamental structure of the Women's National Basketball Association. In this specific case, there's more to it than just one game or one bad judgment. We're talking about a pattern that has some individuals, including athletes, fans, and even analysts, scratching their heads. Let's examine it in more detail since the season start. When discussing missed calls, Clark has dealt with a lot of calls that are highly questionable. We are not talking about the infrequent incident that happens to everyone, but this is not the same. The game is being played with zeal and fury by Clark, who is out there giving it her all. It feels like the referees are watching Clark with a magnifying glass every time she steps onto the court. However, instead of applauding her spirit of competition, can you trust that at the same time that the referees are punishing her with technical penalties for showing emotion? This is where things start to get really chaotic. However, it looks like they are trying to put out the exact spark that makes her such a great player. It's true that it sounds crazy, but some people think Clark is a target because she has gained such widespread recognition as a celebrity. Take heed of what I am saying. It appears as though her success is really making her less successful. The referees seem to watch her every move more intently when she is the center of attention, but the concept that Clark is a celebrity is actually even more absurd. One of the ideas that is currently being addressed is that she could have influenced the referees to make more severe verdicts against her. They almost seem to be trying to show that they are not favoring anyone in particular by doing this, but based on their behavior, it's possible that they are swinging too far in the other direction, just to be clear. I'm not saying there's a grand conspiracy to bring Caitlin Clark down, but you have to acknowledge that something fishy is happening in this case right now. It's not just about Clark anymore. The whole incident is highlighting some of the more serious issues that the WNBA is facing. Think about that for a moment. Many serious concerns have been raised regarding the overall quality of the officiating that is being performed. Are there other players that are also being treated unfairly by the referees if they are treating one of the most well-known stars in the league in this manner? Is this a long-standing issue that we have only now become aware of due to Clark's notoriety? But this is where the real game changer lies. It was not Clark's intention to make all of this material public. To put it plainly, she is out there wanting to win for her team and playing her game, but because of all of these calls, some issues are raised. In doing so, she has unintentionally become a whistleblower. She is bringing up concerns that have probably been simmering beneath the surface for a while. What else is there to say? It's very amazing to learn that Clark, a player for the Women's National Basketball Association WNBA, is creating a stir without her knowledge or consent. People are talking about her, demanding answers and requesting that she improve. It seems as though she is no longer simply a celebrity since she is starting to influence change across the league. It's true that Clark stirs things up on the court when she plays. However, that is not even the most absurd part of the circumstance. What would you say if I told you that, in terms of Clark's success, all of this criticism is actually giving her more power? Nothing is known about this secret, but it has the power to drastically change everything. You would think that all of these unfair calls would screw with Clark's head. Would you not be truthful? While everyone else is going crazy over the referees, the girl in question has steely nerves. Clark is entirely preoccupied with winning. Consider this. Clark is at the free throw line at this crucial juncture in the game because of the incorrect call that happened. The audience was really upset earlier. Clark, on the other hand, is as composed as a cucumber. What she said regarding the circumstances is as follows. My thoughts are focused on the fact that I have to make these 2 free throws. That's all I have on my mind right now. We refer to this as mental toughness. But this is when things really start to get interesting. Clark is not ignoring these bad choices in any manner. She's using them as kindling. Every time the officials render a ruling that begs some important questions, it's almost as though Clark elevates things to the next level. She is now battling against more than just the other side. You know what's even more ridiculous than the fact that she is competing against the entire system and winning? Clark's argument is becoming more and more popular. Her teammates are soaking up all of her excitement. Clark's team is coming together at a moment when most teams would be fighting with the officials and disintegrating. They're playing with greater passion now. You mean the fans are more intelligent and united than they have ever been? It's really popular with them. Clark is evolving into a true hero as a result of her perseverance. Children in the crowd need more than just to wear her jersey. They are also mimicking her focus and motivation. She is not only a basketball sensation, but is also emerging as a role model for overcoming obstacles. What impact does this have on the National Basketball Association for Women? Clark is not only changing her own game in the WNBA, however, she is also changing how the league as a whole behaves. Her ability to remain composed under extreme strain to maintain a high standard of performance in spite of all the drama, it's setting a new standard. Your memory of the Dallas Wings game is still vivid. In addition to her outstanding play, Clark set a career high with 35 points, breaking the previous mark for the most points scored by a rookie. While all of this is happening, certain officiating choices raise important concerns. Here we are discussing legendary basketball. That's not just amazing basketball. Remember that Clark is not acting in this way for her personal gain. Every single time she speaks to the media, she talks about her teammates all the time. She is sharing the limelight and drawing attention in a different way. In a world where superstars regularly allow themselves to be carried away by their own excitement, Clark is the epitome of what it takes to be a true leader. But Clark's capacity to handle all of this attention is what really changes things. She is using her position to draw attention to more important issues rather than just using it as an outlet for her annoyance with the refs. People in the league are listening to her now that she is speaking out for reform. Consider the fact that Clark is able to perform at such a high level in spite of being closely monitored. What aspects of her potential does this raise, and does it suggest that women's basketball has a great deal of promise overall?